have a lot of good things planned for you today. We just want to help you guys not only feel supported, but know how to go about that support and know how to go on continuing forward and being the most successful student that you can be. So balancing it all. What does it mean to balance it all? It's hard to be an active student sometimes when you have so much on your plate, especially now that the semester is starting to pick up. It's important that you can master your skills for time management, to balance it all in your own life, personally and academically. I'm gonna ask you guys to unmute and we're gonna have a conversation. I wanna know personally in your own life, and it can be either academically or personally, maybe we can intermingle the two, is where do you want to be right now at this very moment? How does that immediate goal affect your future goals? And how do you plan on getting there? So I'm sure you guys can probably see my chat. If not, I did get asked a great question. Is our success coach our academic advisor? This is a great question that is actually frequently asked. And no, they are different. They're two different things, but both of them can give you resources and help you out, in your academic journey. So an academic advisor is the one who's going to work with you on your classes, on your course track. That's the timer. On your course track, things like of that nature. And then an academic success coach is more personalized to help you balance your life, your schedule, your classes with your personal life and things like that. So it's more of on a personalized basis. Awesome, I love this. So how do you get one? How do you get an academic success? So we will, at the end, I'll plug this in and mention it, but you can actually, the same way that you would make an appointment with your academic advisor, there's another drop-down menu where you can make an appointment. We don't have to get personal like that with me, but if you want to, like I said, this is a brave space. So if any of you would like to unmute at this point and share with me your 3 goals, you can go ahead and do that. So Brianna says that she wants to be a better writer and improve in your writing. And so, yeah, that is a great goal to have. It's not easy. And so like, if you can achieve, this immediate goal, how would it then affect your future goals? Because the thing about goal setting is not only thinking about the immediate, but then thinking about, well, how would that domino effect occur afterwards? Anyone else? Where do you want to be now? Where do you want to be in the future? How do you plan on getting there? Sonique says, I want to be a successful student. I plan to work hard and manage my time wisely to get there. And this will help on, okay, awesome, on how I can manage my time in the future. Yeah, I think, like, if I may say frankly, I think the biggest issue with students today isn't that they're unmotivated. It's that you guys are so motivated and so wanting to be successful. It's like, how do I even get there? And so that's what we're here to help you on. If you can isolate those goals that you have and say, okay, these are the immediate goals, these are the future goals, and these are like the 10-year future goals, then it'll help you kind of categorize that in your mind. But I definitely thank you for sharing, Sonique. Being a successful, student will help you work hard in the future.
Personally, what I used to do last year when we had COVID, I'd obviously be in my room taking class, and I'd put sticky notes like on my TV screen, like so I'd have like a constant reminder, and also like I'd be able to like check it off. So I feel like writing like out what you have to do and like always having a constant visualization, like most of the time you have to go to your planner and open it. So now I actually have a sticky note that like I put up every week with all my classes and every assignment that's due. And I like put that on my laptop, because obviously I'm always have my laptop to do my homework.
That's so true.
Also, there's like a thing you can use. I haven't used it, but I've seen it like other kids, where like you can put a sticky note, like a virtual sticky note on your home screen, and
Oh,
do that too. But I just
okay.
personally write it down and like check it off like with a pen rather than like anything else. And then I just throw it at
Yeah.
the end of the week when it's
And that probably helps you. Thank you, Pete. That probably helps you like remember it better. So that is something that you guys should think about is, am I someone who remembers more if I type it out, or will I remember better if I write it down? But that's good that you like have a post-it note, and then every week, like you write down all the things you have to do and then switch it out weekly. So, that's maybe something that works for you. I know all of those things. So some of you may be familiar with the Eisenhower Matrix. Some of you may have not seen that at all. So the Eisenhower Matrix is this sort of chart where you can prioritize the things that are going on in your life. So, and if you guys want to take a picture of this, a screenshot, feel free. Essentially, you see here 4 categories. So these are things you do first. These are things you do later. These are things you delegate, like should I do it now? Should I do it later? And then these are things you eliminate. And so when you look at this and you're looking back into your own life, like what do I have to do? I want to go to the gym. I have to study. So if we think of those things, and if you guys want to write some down of like things you have to do in your life that you're like, where do I fit in the time? This is a perfect tool for you guys. So it's good to manage your time, have that balance of this is what's important to me. If, for example, I know some people going to the gym is very important to them. Their physical health means a lot. Whereas to some people, they don't care for the gym. So someone who maybe doesn't care for that would put it in the eliminate section. It's not urgent, it's not important. But for someone who prioritizes physical health, it might be something that's important, but not as urgent as maybe studying for their exam. So the biggest thing is how to study. How do I go about it? Like, for example, in my, this is a brave space, so I will share that in my own personal life, sometimes I'll say, okay, I'm going to study from 12 to 3. And I'll sit down at 12 to study, and then I just can't focus. I don't know. I can't do it for the life of me. I'm thinking of other things, so then it's 3 o'clock and I've wasted 3 hours and I haven't really studied or understood anything. I mean, I've reread the same page 14 times. I'm not sure if any of you guys can relate, I'm sure. So some of the tips that can help you with that is to space out your studying. Don't try to cram it all in one day. That's definitely not helpful. Try to space it out so that you can actually digest, comprehend what you're reading, what you're studying, and then you can refresh to do it again the following day or however you space it out. Another thing is to continually practice like what you're learning. Obviously, like with mathematics, this is great, but in other things too. If you have a class in like communications, you might say, well, how do I practice that? Well, you can always study up and try to research like, how can I be a better communicator? How can I help facilitate conversation? There's so many ways to practice what you're learning. And not just by reading books and notes, like doing other things to help you study, like instead of just sitting there and reading and note taking, that is very beneficial as well. Mistakes are okay also. I really felt like it was important to say this. I said this earlier in the presentation that students nowadays feel a lot of pressure to succeed. And I'm sure that some of you guys do. And I want you to know that it's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to mess up. Trust me, it's okay. You will live. It is not the end of the world as long as you learn from them. And this is how I'll study. So if you learn well from visual, from pictures and things like that, then maybe note taking won't be the best for you. Maybe creating like flashcards with images would be better. You guys kind of get what I'm saying? Gearing your studying towards your learning technique will help you immensely, and then also help you not waste time studying, like if you don't know how to, because once you know, okay, well, I learn this way and I can study this way, well, then it'll help you. So, proactively think about what type of learner are you and what you can use from that to help you. Are you auditory, visual, kinesthetic? There's a few others, but think about that so that then you can isolate, okay, well, then how will I study? Also, finding examples to help you remember. I remember, during my undergrad, there was always like examples that the professor would mention, and I'd be like, this, this isn't relevant to me. So then I would think of an example that was relevant to me, that would connect me to whatever, the class was teaching. And so that's something that I think you guys can also benefit from. Also, like, dig deeper within yourself. If you have a class that you have had a 67 in for the longest, you don't know what's going on, you've studied your hardest, you still can't get that grade, like, dig deeper. Think, what's holding me back, or what is the barrier? And typically it will be in your studying methods or your studying skills. So it is important to focus in on that if you want to balance it all, to have those good studying skills. Also, make a plan and stick to it. Most of us will say, yeah, we're going to study tonight, but then it never actually happens. Or we'll say we'll study for a certain amount of time, and then an hour into it, we're kind of, brained out. So it is important that when you do make a plan to study, you stick to it. You can't focus too hard on the time itself. You have to think of what you will do with that time. So, for example, like if you know that you have 2 hours to accomplish, said presentation, some people, they get into like, oh my God, I only have 2 hours. What am I going to do? And then they spend like an hour planning and pondering about it instead of managing that time wisely to be proactive about it. So firstly, if you set goals correctly, like we did at the beginning of this presentation, we all sat, we wrote some goals, that will help you manage your time. Once you have those goals in mind, the time you spend to get there will be easier managed. Then you have to prioritize, maybe you use the matrix, how you're going to go about the time. Like, what are you going to do first? What are you going to do second? What should you like always have as a top priority? What is the least of your priorities? And things like that. And again, like when you're thinking of these, don't just think academics. As much as you guys are students, like I said, you guys are also human beings. You have laundry, cooking, shopping, friends. I understand 100%. So making sure that you have time, not only for your classes, but for yourself is important. So has anyone here heard of the 1 hour rule by any chance? You can like raise your hand or something. No one? Oh, awesome. Great. Always sharing something new. So the 1 hour rule is essentially, if you're somewhere, it doesn't have to be on campus, but if you have 1 hour, like if you have a certain amount of time to dedicate yourself, there's a 1 hour rule of how you should manage it. So if you have an hour or more of time, let's say in between classes, between your first class of the day and your second class, you have an hour or more, you should use that to study. If you have less than an hour, you should use that for yourself, because as Taryn said, she made a great point. In less than an hour, you might not get enough studying done. You might sit and attempt to study, but you might reread the page 14 times, like how I did when I was in undergrad. So making sure you use the time wisely, and be really open with yourself and brave with yourself. If you have less than an hour, are you really going to be able to read all of chapter 3 and understand it? Probably not. So maybe you should just go and get yourself a coffee and remind yourself that you're doing great. If you have more than an hour, then maybe you should read chapter 3, take some notes, try to digest it. as much as balancing it all has to do with scheduling, with time management, with your studying, really a lot of it has to do with your motivation, with how you think about yourself. And I know you guys are all amazing students. And so if you believe in yourself and you say, hey, I'm a great student, I work hard, then you're going to be able to balance it all. You're going to say, this semester was a piece of cake, next semester is going to be another one, and soon I'll graduate. So hopefully you guys all feel that way. And if you don't, please take a picture of this. I'll move this to the side, but please take a picture of this graph. I thought it was amazing. You know, it's a good comparison of things that we do say to ourselves. You know, I've said these things before to myself, and some of you guys might relate. And so it's hard, but I believe that we can do it, of switching our mindsets from this to this. So with that being said, I wanted to take a second to reflect on our own journey, reflect on how it's been going, and kind of just think about where we would like to go from here. So, and again, if you guys do have any questions, please, like, feel free to reach out to me. I'm here for you guys. Now, I think this is my, oh, look at that. My pictures were there. Amazing. So thank you all for coming. I really appreciate you all attending. If you didn't put your email in the chat, please do it now. And if you did, again, thank you. You're free to log off. I appreciate you being here. And please enjoy your day. Hope you guys can balance it all.